So painting an environment is relatively easy, but making that environment feel real and believable really has its challenges. My name is Jose Vega, and I've been working in the industry as a senior concept artist for over a decade. And in this video, I want to get into a few different things about environment design and storytelling that most artists skip. And some of it is about the small details, right? Or if it's about the bigger design and the production in itself, and decisions that make or break how real a space really feels. So let's check it out. I think the main thing that I am missing from this type of shot, right? And I'm not super concerned about this one because this is mostly showcasing like the main dwelling, is the set dressing of this, right? And so you have all the big things here and the medium things here. Like you have the big structure. This is all great. All the medium things, right? We understand the dwelling and this little outlook here. I love that you have this. This shows some structure. This is not just a rope around something, right? Like this shows like there may be making some special knots, or they have some sort of system to tie things up or something like that, which shows culture and intelligent design, right? Not just from you, but from the people that live here, which we need to show that in the design itself. But also, now that you have that, now we have to think about the smaller things, right? So if I look at my desk, I have the desk, I have my wall, the monitors, which are the bigger things, medium things, but then I have smaller things around, right? I have my cell phone, I have cables throughout, I have a little pouch for my hard drive, maybe I have some crumbs from a breakfast that I ate this morning, right? I have a pen laying around, a bottle of water. So all those smaller things that are the usual things that I will be around, and that's going to change depending on the person and the place and all that. We need to be able to show that, because that's going to give us even more at like a higher level of information about who lives here, right? So pushing that to that level, I think it's going to bring it even to a higher quality. And so I will think about those things as sort of like, you don't have to go like super crazy, right? But, I'm pretty sure there has to be some stuff laying around or up here or hanging out, or, maybe there's like a little working station here to work on stuff, or, whatever it is that you decide. All those little things will definitely add to the storytelling and the character of the environment, not just the characters in themselves, I think right now you're having a mix of different things that are not, relatable to each other, right? So like these very curvy, almost Art Nouveau Elvish-like, with this almost like Gothic-like structure at the bottom. And so I need to, like this rope, like I love this idea of the big rope here. I think that's very Asian-like too, right? So I want to be able to define specific things that will define the architecture and the shapes and the things that they have in here, in order for everything to be sort of like cohesive in a way, and so that would be sort of like the first thing. You can do that with notes or reference pictures or anything like that. Once you have that, which to be honest, it shouldn't take you long, but it's gonna take more commitment than time consuming thing, right? It's gonna take you to make a decision and sticking with it. Right. So, okay, this is the direction that I want to go to with this type of look and feel, right? And reference and influence into the structures and everything that I'm going to have. And I'm going to stick with it all the way, right? That's what's really going to take this. Once you have that, then you can come back here and make a better assessment of what you have already, and decide, okay, this works for what I have from what I decided on. This doesn't work, so we need to change it. And so, that's going to allow you to better pick what's going to best work for it, and also make any changes that you need to make for whether it's the structure or the shapes or the graphics or whatever the case may be, right? Because if you're saying, oh, which one you like better, I'm just, I can pick one, but it's not really about that as much. It's really all about like which one it looks more cohesive, which one works better for the product in itself, or for the story in itself, right? It's not really about which one looks better, and that's it, right? And so, right. And so we have to think about it in that way to further push the design.
But is it fine if I kind of like mix like two tradition together? Like for example, in my mind, this is always like a Japanese Miko stuff, right? So Asian maybe like 80% of it, but the rest of 20% of it probably just gonna be like the Art Nouveau stuff.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. Well, what I don't want is 50% of medieval, and then you have 30% Gothic, and then there's like influence from other stuff, and like it's not a theme. There's not a theme, right? And so that's the main thing. So if you what you're saying is 80% Asian, right? Then we have to be able to see that in the design and stuff, right? We're gonna see that a lot probably on the roof. Like, so there's gonna be a lot of roof tiles and a lot of layering. Asian architecture is crazy, crazy detail, and so we have to be able to see that level of detail in the architecture in itself, which I think Asian architecture and like Asian inspiration on this will fit really well with what you're trying to do. So I think it's gonna work well. It's just a matter of being able to put it in.
Yeah, no, these are cool. The fundamental stuff in terms of like composition and stuff, like I'm good with like this particular shot, and I'm sort of just gonna jump around through this and talk through them. But the main thing is like you have such a cool character, right? That we need to the goal, I think, is to bring this personality, right? What we see from this character into this, right? That's sort of like, I think that would be like the main goal. And so, we, obviously you know this character more than I do, because you created it. And so you have to think about the things that this character would do around here with the things that the character has in the environment, right? And so when I think about things that are functional, like stairs and stuff like that, right? Like how would he make that ladder to get to his spot, based on what's in the environment? Because I'm guessing he's using whatever is available to create this home or this dwelling or this place for living in here. I definitely want to think about the story of this piece of tree or trees that are here. Like, are these ancient trees that were here before they sort of fell and they repurpose the fallen tree into their dwelling? Or is it pieces that they actually carry from somewhere else that are almost perfectly cut and they just place in here, right? And so if I think about just those two options, they're gonna look completely different ways, depending on which one it is, right? And so I want to make sure that whatever is that was in your mind in terms of like the background of this and how it was created, that the image represents that as close as possible and as much as possible, right? These are like humongous trees, right? Like these are big trees, right? And so let's say, for example, that the idea was that these trees fell and they're repurposing the fallen tree to make their dwelling around this place, right? And so if that's the case, then we may need to see other trees that are standing of the same size, maybe. Or if part of the story is just these trees are just gone, they're extinct, and all that remains is just these pieces that are sort of scattered around. That could be an option as well. I want to make sure that I also bring the character, like almost like the style of the character in itself into the tree, right? Because the tree is going to have some character. So what's the actual story, like the thickness of this tree, right? I don't want this, I'm thinking, how did they cut the tree if they needed to cut it? How did they make this? And like, is it going to be these perfectly cut seams and cuts into the tree to make this dwelling? Or is it going to be a little bit more rough and more rustic in a way? The same way with all the little things that they're going to make, like the ladder and any other prop that they're going to have into here, right? And so I want to be able to think about all those things. And I I do love the way that you have it here. Like, I think it's great. Like, this idea is pretty cool too. I love this one too. This is the one that we have. Like, all these explorations I think they're great. I think they're not, like this one feels like it's getting there with the feel, with the characteristic of it. I'll definitely play with, let me save this. See if I can. And so I almost, especially with trees and this big of a tree, right? Like, trees, when you cut them, they're like solid. The older, the more solid, and this had to be completely, right? This was a full solid piece, right? And so sometimes when I see cuts like this where you have a little bit of thickness, right? It's not like you cannot have it, right? Like, it's definitely possible in sometimes, but when you have it evenly throughout the whole space, it looks too clean cut, right? Especially from something that was like fully solid, right? Like, this is not a hollow sort of like tree, or it's just a bark type of thing, right? And so maybe there are some areas that are maybe thicker, right, than others, because maybe they didn't cut it perfectly to be completely the same size all throughout the roundness of the tree. So bringing a little bit of variation there could really give it a little bit more character to it. I will also think about the layerings of the outside of the tree. So I remember I went to Montana last year, and we were doing a hike thing, and there was this beautiful thick trees that had you could almost see 3 layers through the bark. So you had like the otter bark, and then the otter bark had this very little holes from these birds. What do you call those? The
woodpecker.
Yeah, the woodpeckers. And he had like a bunch of it. It almost looked like a beehive type of texture throughout. But then there were some cracks in between those that you could see the inner layer of it, right? And between that, I had another track that you could see even deeper to it. So it had like this layering of different textures and character to the tree that made it look like so awesome, that thinking about that and how the bark sort of like in some areas it was like more peeled off, so it would create these other inner parts of the thing, right? So bringing that variety into there. Like, let's say for example, maybe you have like, because of the weather, maybe this tree has been here like this laying down for a long time. So yes, you will have like all this nice moss on the top, but maybe the bark at the bottom is almost like falling. So you will have like bigger pieces of bark almost like as a base, but they're like almost falling off from the main, from the main body of the tree. And so all those things, like, you can start adding to it to bring that character that you have so awesomely on this guy here, that is gonna, when you start fusing those two together, the character of the characters and the character of the environment, you fuse them together, and then it sort of like belongs with each other, instead of just like a standard regular tree environment and this cool character. It almost like weights down on one side more than the other. And so bringing that character to the environment requires that thinking and that process of thinking about it.
So a lot of the time, the details that we ignore or we rush past are really the ones that are really going to make our environments look more believable and feel real and relatable as well. And so if you're interested in any type of feedback like this, feel free to check out my one-on-one mentorship that I have running on our website, or a group mentorship as well. And if you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. I'll see you guys in the next one.